What is human design? If you had to ask me to guess, human design. Do you design humans? I mean, if you had to ask me before I had some kind of context, and actually there's this chart which you're going to explain to me in a little bit.
The new system that was founded in 1987 by a Canadian guy called Alan Krakauer. It's about who you are at core, your energy, yourself at core before conditioning takes place. So when you meet someone, there's always an energy about the person. So human design is all about the energy that your body graphs gives you based on certain facts about your birthplace, time of birth, and this. So it's a mixture of Eastern wisdom and Western sciences. I don't know, here in this country, like sometimes, I love Cyprus because I've been here 22 years and I love the Cypriot. But there was one thing that sometimes I get a bit annoyed is Na Kanoume. With this Na Kanoume.
Yeah.
This fatalistic thing. When I hear Na Kanoume, I just want to. It's lots of things you can Kanoume.
Find a way. Na Kanoume means what can we do? It is what it is. Welcome to the Financial Frontiers podcast. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon to get notified when we upload new content. Follow us on Spotify and give us a 5-star rating. It will help the channel, which I hope you love so much. Here we are, another episode on the Financial Frontiers podcast. And today, my guest is Lucile Cox from a couple of companies. Phoenix Hill, which I had a podcast before with Yannis Ashotis from Phoenix Hill, who was one of the founders, and also GRC partners. But today our conversation is going to touch on a little bit of compliance and AML and whatever it is, but steer into a different conversation. And actually, I didn't know this until just before we started the recording here, which is quite interesting for me. Something which is called human design that I have no idea what it's about. And I'm really interested to have this conversation with you. I don't even know what kind of questions I should ask, but I'm looking forward to this. You can start with your background, Lucile. Thank you for your time. And I'm looking forward to this conversation.
I love podcasts in general. Never been to one, but I love listening to them. So when I go walking, I always have my headset and listen to podcasts. So that's great. Thank you for the invite. Yes. So to rewind, just to rewind a little bit, I was born and raised in France, in Charente-Maritime on the Atlantic coast, up to the age of about 19. Yes, I'm the youngest of a recomposed family of 5. My mom was a widow with me and my brother. She remarried my stepfather, who was also a widow with his 3 young children. So from 2 we became 5. I had a very nice childhood. Because I didn't have a biological father. My stepfather was a businessman. He was more of a provider. So I grew very attached to my mother. And my mother is a very charismatic person. She's a force. Like she's very strong personality. So I was always a little bit under her shadow, kind of. So there was these 2 sides of me, the wild child and the child who wanted to please her mother. And anyway, my mother she played a lot of importance to physical appearance, to academics. So I was trying to be the best in the class, and I was always trying to look good because I thought this is how she would love me. Anyway, it was a very nice childhood. And then I went to university in La Rochelle, and then I heard last call to apply for Erasmus. And then I had one of these moments, I was like, fuck, I have to do this, Erasmus. So I applied, didn't tell anyone.
What is Erasmus? What is that?
So Erasmus is like an exchange, like a European exchange of students between 2 universities. So my University of La Rochelle was linked to couple of universities in England, Spain, and Germany. I applied Erasmus in England. So I got selected to go to University of Central Lancashire to carry on 6 months of my degree in France. So here I go with my 2 other French girls, car full, we drive all the way to Preston. We arrived there, and then that was like, okay, completely different from the French experience, completely different. So that was back in 1995. University in France was a very nice campus by the seaside, 1 or 2 computers for the whole campus. I arrived in Preston. It was like hundreds and hundreds of computers. So that was like, wow. And then the full international spectrum, like Erasmus students, you just suddenly you're there with all nationalities, French, German, Spanish, everything there. And it was like, wow, for me, my life was just so French. All I knew was French people. And suddenly I see, wow, this is a different life out there. And I felt very activated by this international element. So from that moment, I knew that I needed to work or to be or to live in the international environment. And I had a hall of residence. So it was me, another French girl, and 6 Greek people. Okay. And that was my first exposure to the Greek culture.
Nice.
So that was really funny. Like these guys, they were inviting all the Greek community weekends to dance around the table, to play Greek music, and then they were going to their back to their parents' house, coming back with suitcase full of mama pasticcio.
It's true, I'm born and raised in South Africa.
Yes.
And had Hellenism, the community, we have it so strong there, Greek dancing, the community, we had these Greek socials in South Africa.
Yes.
Where it was, let's call it Greek night out, where, you book up the whole club.
Oh, wow.
And it would be Greek and English music.
Yes.
Throughout the night, in a club that normally plays English, that, in a country that doesn't know anything about the Greek culture. So we book, very close community, and
they stick together, right?
They stick together,
yes.
And also they try and follow the path, or the keep the Greek, and the Cypriots as well, from the parents, because the first generation rather, that I was, my friends we were born in South Africa.
Yes.
And all our parents migrated from Cyprus and Greece, and moved to South Africa, and we kept it close to us.
Oh, wow,
even more
yes.
so, I mean, like Greek dancing and stuff. When I come to Cyprus for holiday, my cousins didn't know I knew Greek dancing. It surprised me. I thought,
wow,
yeah.
Yes.
So
it's a strong cultural, but that was a funny thing with Erasmus. Like every nationality had their strong things, and then I was hearing all these accents, and I thought, wow, I love accents. It was really nice. It was, and then there was all this party all the time. Erasmus students, they party every night. My university in France, it wasn't like that. It was very focused, very hard work. So the experience in Preston, the English experience, was fun. It was great. And then the next hall of residence, we called him the Viking Hall, and he was full of English people from the north.
Okay.
Couldn't understand anything. They were like a very strong accent there. And there was one guy who stood out a little bit for me because he had a neutral accent. He was quite well spoken, so I could kind of understand him. He was always very funny, and he was coming with his deaf girls speaking sign language. And from the moment I saw him, I was like, okay, we will be together. I had a boyfriend, he had a girlfriend, and knew timing was wrong. But anyway, we're married now.
Oh, okay.
So, but I knew we'd end up together. So we did. But then I had to come back to France to finish my degree. And it was horrible. I hated it. After tasted England, coming back to France and this mentality, and they were so serious, and I felt like, so I reapplied to do my master's degree in Preston, 12 months. So so the next September, the next season, I went back for 1 year. And I moved in with Mark, my husband, and we were sharing a house with deaf students, so we were signing away. Anyway, we carried on having a really great life out there, very, very nice. Then I did my work placement in Germany for 2 months, because I was speaking a little bit of German. Now it's all forgotten. But that was nice. And then we went to London to work. So Mark started working as a sign language interpreter. He was going to different universities, following deaf students and interpreting. And I started working for a business intelligence company. So they were doing reporting software. The company has since bought up by Business Object, and now it's SAP. At the time, it was quite a small but very niche market company of reporting, Crystal Report, the software there. So I was there in technical support, customer service in technical support.
Crystal Reports, I've heard of that before.
Yes.
They're in banks.
Seagate, it was part of Seagate software, and I had this Crystal Report, Holos, business intelligence solution. Very, very interesting, very nice company. Stayed there for 4 years. After 6 months, I was promoted to run a network of resellers and distributors in Southern Europe. So there was a little bit of traveling. It was like channel sales. It was very nice. Loved it. We had a great life in London. And then after 4 years, I started to get terribly sunsick. I really started to miss the sun, like big time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I need to get out of London. And everybody was like, but you guys have a nice, you're okay, you settle. So no, I just knew that I had to get out of London. So my mind then starting to find places to go. So every couple of weeks, I had this fantastic idea of where to live. I was doing PowerPoint presentation to everybody. Say, okay, we're going to Italy. We're going to Spain. We're going, like every month I had a new country. And I was really, really deeply researching the country and everything. At some point, he went to Vancouver until I realized there was a lot of rain.
Yeah. And also, I think the minus 40 degrees in the winter won't help.
Yes, that would not have helped. But the headquarters of this company was in Vancouver, so it would have been an easy transfer, but weather would have. Yeah. But I think there was a very nice standard. It was one of the best standards of living.
Really, Vancouver.
In Vancouver. And I was very surprised considering the weather seemed to be quite bad.
Yeah. Well, every country is built for whatever the weather is. You go to Dubai and there's air conditioning.
Yes, you adapt.
South Africa, there's no air conditioning. Because it doesn't get so hot.
So it's not as extreme as here.
Yeah. Although it's changing now, but I could only imagine what they've got in Vancouver. I'm sure you can't walk outside. I mean, I'm sure everything's underground and connected and
yes,
I don't know.
I'm sure. But I remember reading something and they said it's like the the toilets of like rain, like non-stop rain. So that stopped. That the Vancouver phase was not very long. Then it was Australia. Anyway. Nobody believed we would leave London. It was like, okay, right. And then one day, I remember very clearly, I was having a shower and I heard Cyprus, 350 days of sunshine. And I asked my husband, say, where's Cyprus? Okay, I left it there, go to work. Friday night, we go to the pub as we do in England after work. And then there was this sales guy who came back from a summit. And I started to talk to him about wanting to leave London and going to somewhere warm. And he said, it's funny because I just come back from a summit organized by a company in Cyprus. This very nice French girl working there. It's like it was in Monte Carlo. They do this very exclusive summit, and the French girl is very nice. She loves it in Cyprus. Why don't you give her a call? He gave me a phone number. Next day, I called the French girl, and she said, "Oh yeah, I love Cyprus. It's very nice." And then she said, "You're actually in luck if you want to come because we have a new sales manager, an Australian guy who's coming here to set up like a telesales team." So I thought, so she gave me his number. I called him, but that was 2002. Yeah, so it wasn't like the team calls we have today, but it was like a job interview on landline.
Okay.
And he said, "Yeah, I'm setting up this team. We cannot pay much. This is a basic salary. You can make a lot of money on commission." And I thought, okay, I look at the salary. I was like, okay, you take my London salary, you divide by 12 or 13. And that was the offer. And I said, hell yes, I'm in. I didn't even think twice. I was like, yeah, I just knew it. I was like, doesn't matter. It's not about the money. So whole family was like, what is she doing? Mark is the only one who supported me. He said, like, yeah, let's give it a try. So I went first because I wanted him to keep the flat and his job in sign language. He was not very adaptable to Cyprus. And I came first. I arrived I landed in Larnaca. The company sent me a taxi to go to Nicosia. I arrived there. It was February 2003. And they put me in a company flat in Arios Homologites by the river. It was nice. Company is very nice. It was freezing cold at night, I remember.
February, yes.
February at night, there was no heating. And I remember having my hat and my scarf and sleeping like this. And I was telling everyone, yeah, it's great. I wanted to prove myself I didn't make a huge mistake. Anyway, I liked it straight away. You know what I liked the most when I arrived in Nicosia? It's just walking in the street and the smell of jasmine everywhere. And you have the orange the trees and the lemon trees. You can just pick up your lemons. Just that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I love it here. So I called my husband. I said, leave the room, join me. It's going to be great. We're going to love it here. So a few months later, he joined me. And it was very nice. And the job was pure telesales. So it's hard, it's like very hard sell, but it's a very good training. Like if you can do that, you can do anything because you get through a lot of rejections and you can handle rejection. It's you have to persevere. But eventually I did the amazing sale. I was actually catching up my London salary just on sale. I did really well, and then they wanted to grow the team, so they gave me a team. So we recruited people from Poland. And then I was getting override from the team. So, but I was working really hard because I had to prove to myself I didn't make a big mistake, coming here.
Well, what were you doing in So telesales is obviously those promotions that you would see on TV, like jewelry or whatever.
It was a bit different. We were like cold selling these conferences, but they're not conferences. The company, this events management company, what they do.
I understand what you're saying. So when you say telesales, you meant you picking up the phone and calling.
Finding the people who would come to the conference. Now, people who we would invite to come to the conference, they have to be senior decision makers, and they had to have, for them to be eligible to come to one of these very nice conferences in 5-star hotel in Monte Carlo, Montreux, everywhere nice. They have to have some sort of budget to buy. So it was like a marketplace. They were bringing buyers and vendors through a conference. So there was speakers and everything. So we had to attract the buyers who had the budget. So CEOs, people with a budget, head of purchasing, to come to this conference, and they were having one-to-one business meeting with the vendors who were the one paying big bucks. And basically, yes, that was the idea. So I was trying to get the,
So, when you said telesales, I thought you meant television sales.
no, that would be even worse.
But telesale, telephone sales?
Telephone sales, yes.
That is, I've tried that.
It's tough, huh?
You need, but the lessons you learn, right?
Yes.
I mean, I would, exactly what you said, but I didn't do it. How long did you do that for?
9 months.
9 months. So, I mean, I didn't go and work for a company that, had cold calling. I just did it on my own. I was trying to, it was a side hustle that I was trying to do,
Yes.
sales. And, man, you need thick skin. You need super thick skin because you call. And so how I push today is, it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. This is exactly what it is.
The more you push through the no's, the closer you're getting to find that yes.
Eventually, you will have that one person. And I remember that time I had this Coca-Cola company. They came to this event and suddenly they said, yes, we love the idea. We'll bring 10 people, boom, in one go.
Yeah. And
wow,
that's
that
so
was jackpot.
rewarding.
Yeah.
And it feels so rewarding because
yes.
and then sometimes people get even annoyed and they go,
oh,
why are you calling me?
Oh my God.
Where'd you find my number?
Yeah. Because we had to go through the gatekeepers. We had to use tricks. I remember one time I had to pretend to be the French babysitter to get the mobile phone of this CEO. No secretary would give it, and I was pretending not to speak any English. Anyway, eventually they gave me the mobile phone, and I reached the guy. I go through him, first thing, say, how did you get my phone? Because he realized it was a sales call.
Yes.
He hung up on me, but I was quite proud I managed to reach him.
It's a win. You figure out a way to because, actually, let's touch on this a little bit because I'm sure the audience doesn't, many people don't know what the gatekeeper is.
Yes.
The gatekeepers, not, you can explain what the gatekeeper is. And also, when we talk about cold calling and sales, it's not just a matter of calling, saying, in a scripted manner what your product is, hearing the no, and then just doing the same thing over and over and over again. You need to hear the tones. You need to understand from the moment you say hello and how the person responds.
Yes.
The conversation can go in so many different ways, and you pick this up with experience.
Oh, yes. And you have to mirror the person you're talking to, study to work.
Because then they feel like...
You make a rapport. Yes. This is it. You have to find a way. Because when you come to this company, they give you a script. And the script was like, oh my God, I was like, no way I can do this in my French accent. Like reading this, it would sound ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, forget the script, it's not going to happen for me. So, I just did it with my heart, really. I like the way it feels and what kind of value we could bring. And it's true, the deal was quite a nice deal. Like they were invited to come for free to a 5-star venue with a nice conference program. The only thing is they had to agree to have so many one-to-one business meetings with the vendors because that was the idea. That's where they were making money. The vendors wanted this senior decision maker who have a purchasing power. So for them, they were leads when they were having this one-to-one meeting. So the concept is nice. It was a good concept. It's just a cool thing, it's just a difficult job. So after 9 months or a year, I think just about a year, I was just, money-wise, I made very nice money, but I was thinking, it's so tiring to restart from the beginning of the month on zero, hardly any basic, and then you have to again, reach your quota and you get your team motivated. And I found it I thought, I cannot do this for long. This is it. I'm done with that. So I looked for something. I wanted something a bit more stable. And so they had this opportunity for an offshore bank. It was one of the big banks on the island, the last offshore bank. So went there, stayed there 15 years actually.
Oh.
It was a very nice job, actually. I started in customer service, then I was helping with the internet banking upgrade projects, and then they started to need compliance, and that's how I started my career in AML and compliance. They were building a big department there. So that was a very nice company, full of foreigners. We were all from different countries, very nice atmosphere. It was a great company. I had 2 kids there at the bank. Yes. So I was never, compliance, for me, it was never like a wow job. It was just a job I can do because I'm good at investigating. But it wasn't like I loved it or I hated it. It was just convenient. I had the 2 kids. Mark was quite intensively traveling in the Middle East. I didn't have family support, so career was not my priority. I just wanted to get a job. And, my proper life started after work or weekends. So it was never a passion, but it was nicely bearable because there was a nice atmosphere, great team. Unfortunately, the bank closed in 2016. So the bank closed, big palaver, big problem. I don't even want to get into this, but yes, for accusation of money laundering, actually. Anyway, closed the bank. We had to be in the streets for maybe 2 months to try and, because we had some provident funds, we had some, like the owners of the bank, they were giving us, how they call it, loyalty funds. But when they closed the bank, the government didn't want us to take our money back. So we were all foreigners. We were in the street in front of the central bank for 2 months, beep, 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 like making noise, and until we got what was due to us, our money. When we got the money, then I wasn't too much in a rush to start working. I took a few months off. And then I saw on LinkedIn another position in AML for accounting, like an audit firm. So it wasn't the big four, but it was probably the next one down. I said, okay. I thought, okay. I looked at the website. They seem to have offices worldwide. So I thought, okay, international environment, tick. I arrived there, full of Cypriots, accountants. It was my first experience, actually, in the Cypriot environment. Okay. I had a bit of a shock. I think they had more of a shock than as well with me, because I can be a little bit, can be a little bit, crazy sometimes. But they got used to me. I got used to them as well. Yeah, it was nice. They were bringing me honey and bags of lemons, and that's when you know you've been adopted. So I recruited my best friend to help me, because there was hardly anything in terms of compliance and AML. Like, there was no list of high-risk clients, there was no manual, so we had a whole setup to do. It was a big job, so I brought one of my best friends from the bank, who's very good. And together we built up the whole compliance AML department, everything from scratch. We made files, everything. We passed a monitoring visit nicely. So we thought, okay, nice. So that was nice. I stayed there for 7 years. The first 4 years we set up the departments. And then I started, the last 3 years, it was becoming very repetitive. I was reviewing the same clients again every year, and the high risk and this. And then there was more and more things to do from the directives, and more and more and more and more. But the team was not growing. We were still 3. So I started to get a little bit demotivated, like a little bit uninspired. At the same time, it was a bit of a golden cage for me. It was safe. This is what I knew. I was never thinking of leaving this place, because it was a good place to be. But one time, there was this, they were running a coaching thing. They asked some of the partners to coach some people. And one of the young partners decided to coach me. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with coaching, how it works.
But to coach on what specifically?
Career, work, these kind of things.
So, like training, you mean?
Yeah. Well, basically, I wasn't too sure either what was coaching, but I thought, okay, let's go along with that. And they don't, it's not like, okay, they don't give you advice on what you should do, but they make you think. So they never give you, oh, you should do this, you should do that. But they make you think into such a way that, you're trying to find ways to improve your situation, or you find your own solutions to things.
Interesting. So, I mean, I had a podcast about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
His name was Raf Barron, and he's a feedback coach.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's the same, but I mean,
could be.
Yes. What it is feedback, meaning not only negative things, but feedback in general. So how are you performing? What are you doing good, and what you could do to improve on some other aspects?
Yes.
But also focus on, that was a job well done. And
yes.
So he brought, which I thought makes complete sense, is, the corporate world, how we normally get a response or, do a check on how we doing our, how are we performing, whether it is as an individual or as a team. Those meetings don't happen so frequently, maybe once a month. You get together with your team, your colleagues, your manager, whatever it is. And then generally that conversation is not so pleasant because we default to only focusing on the negative. So, fix that, do this, fix it.
Yes.
But in sports, so he's also professional. He was a professional athlete, this guy, Raf Barron.
Yes.
And he said, in sports, it's very different. In sports, and he was a wrestling professional athlete in wrestling. In every session, you're getting feedback. In every single session. And within 5 minutes, this is what he told me, you become a better version of yourself than what you were 5 minutes ago, because the feedback is straight away, right? So you go down, so the coach tells you, go grapple, whatever it is. And then they see, you could have placed that foot there. This arm could have been here. You would have been more sturdy on your attack, whatever.
Yes.
And that feedback's given to you straight away. Whereas if you had to take that and metaphorically translate that into the corporate world, that person who had his wrong in the hand position, his foot in the wrong position, would be doing that attack and that grapple position for a month until, and if the coach finds it. So it's so try and incorporate that mindset of feedback coach on a daily basis as part of your routine is what he does and consults businesses. So I don't know if that's, it is interesting.
It's a little bit like that, although, they were not professional, they were partners, but they were trained from the headquarters to do this to the staff, and the idea was nice. So for me, it was more a case of, okay, this is your issue, this is your challenge. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to, handle your workload with the resource you have? How can you make this work, basically? It was more like a positive thing like this. So I was trying to think of ways how I could make this, small team work better. And then he said to me, okay, what do you want to work for next time we meet next month? And from my head, like that, without thinking, I thought, I want to be as authentic as possible. I don't know where this came from. Okay, said fine. Okay, I go home, I relax, I open my phone, scroll Facebook. And then that friend of a friend puts something like, do you want to be as authentic as possible? Come to my human design introduction webinar. I was like, wow, okay, I have to go.
Human design.
Yes, human design. Never heard about human design. But it was so funny that I mentioned that and this came up. So I thought, well, okay.
Well, the big tech industry is just listening to us. They're listening to us right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's nonstop.
Yeah, sure. And these things happen like that.
There's no doubt.
There's no doubt. So this came, I said, okay, well, I said I would do that. So let's enroll to this webinar. So a couple of days later, I go to to this team webinar, and this human design coach, she explained what is human design. Do you know about human design?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I actually heard about human design now, literally before our podcast, and I was actually super excited that we're going to discuss this in the podcast. I'm looking forward to this. What is human design? If you had to ask me to guess, human design. Do you design humans? I mean, if you had to ask me before I had some kind of context, and actually there's this chart which, we're going to give Andreas a little bit of work over here. So this chart, which you're going to explain to me in a little bit, we should actually, I'm going to get Andrea to kind of maybe cut this out and present it in the video.
Yes.
And then people can reference this. But I have no idea what this stuff is. We can get back into this shortly, but if...
It looks a bit like the chakra system when you see that.
Yes, chakra, correct. Like... it sounds like, it looks like it's something to do with meditation and your chakra and getting connected to your inner self. But if you had to ask me before, I would have said human design, because I'm from a technology thing. My mind would go straight to designing the new future AI humans. That's what I would think it is. But
wow, that's a nice.
So design new humans. The new robots that are going to be created in the future. I think the world is going there, but
it's going there. No, this is a new system that was founded in 1987 by a Canadian guy called Alan Krakauer, who calls himself Raourou. And basically, it's about who you are at core, your energy, like who you like yourself at core before conditioning takes place. So when you meet someone, there's always an energy about the person. So human design is all about the energy. And it's like the energy that your body graphs gives you based on certain facts about your birthplace, time of birth, and this. So it's a mixture of Eastern wisdom and Western sciences. You have the chakra, Hindu chakra, you have the Chinese I Ching, you have the chakra system, the Kabbalah, and also from the Western side, you have the quantum physics, biochemistry, and genetics. But anyway, this is not what's interesting me. What I found it fascinating is to know that every human being has a manual. It's like an operating manual of how you're supposed to function in life. So it's like your guide. Your human design chart is your guide of how you're supposed to function. And so from the moment we are born, we're born with this chart. But then with our upbringing, with the parenting, with the schooling, we are being conditioned to be different. The parents have expectations, school have, and we're trying to mold into some sort of, things to be as much as to be like everybody else, or when in fact everybody has a different type of energy, and we all have a specific role to play based on this energy. So in human design, the first thing that happens when you run your chart is you find out what is your type, your human design type. Now there are 5 human design type. You have the generators, the manifesting generators, the manifestors, the reflectors, and the projectors. And all of these, they have their percentage of the population. So generators and manifesting generator, they're one type together. They're the generator type, they're 70% of the population. So most people you would meet would be generator. They have this sacral energy. So you see the square here. This is the sacral. This one for generators, it's always in color. It's activated, which means that they have this life source energy. So a generator is someone who They have a very warm, enveloping aura, and they're here to produce energy for the other types. So if they do things that light them up, if they do things that makes them happy, if they are aligned with their chart, they produce this energy for the rest of the population. They have this life source sacral energy. So they can keep going. And the universe, it is a great thing because the universe keeps sending them things to respond to. So for a generator, a manifesting generator, they're here to respond to things like, I don't know, do I want to go swimming? Yes. It's like either hell yes, or if you don't feel it, and it's like, it's a no.
Okay.
So if you're a generator, and probably you are because most of the people are generators, you're here to respond. And a lot of generators are trying to initiate, but it's not their role to play. They're wasting energy doing that. They're here to respond to things that light them up. So it's very important for a generator to do a job that they like. And because they have this life force source energy, they can do it for, they keep producing energy. So if they do something they like, they can do it, for all their life, forever. So let's say you can find an accountant, a generator accountant who likes accounting. He would be your best worker.
Because he's working, responding to what he's instructed to do.
Yes. Now in the other category, the manifesting generator, which also has this square here, this life force energy, this sacral energy within them, they go through things a lot faster. So they're not one that would keep with the same job forever. They're multi-passionate, they're multi-talented, and they're multi-passionate. So it's very common for a manifesting generator to have either they go through jobs changing jobs quite often, or they have lots of different passions. They do lots of things. So they could be in the day, they could do this, and then they would be reading tarot, and then they would do motorcycling, all sorts of things. They are the manifesting generators.
Okay. This that we're looking at over here, this is your certificate?
This is my chart, yes.
Your chart.
Yes. So when you put the birth details and everything, you have your chart. So the other type, so we went through generator, manifesting generator. Then you have the projectors, 20% of the population. They don't have sacral energy, so they can run down a lot quicker. But they have their guides. They have this unique view to look at a situation. They're like a bird on a branch who would see the whole situation a different way and pick up how it could be improved. So these are great, but they don't have life force energy. They're not there to work 9 to 5. They're consultant. They can consult on something, and then they need to rest, and then. So this is the other type. Yeah, projector. And projectors are great guides. I have a lot of projector friends. they could see straight away. They could see what goes wrong into a situation, how it could be improved, how I really like their energy and their strategy, because every human design type has a strategy how to live your life. So for the generators, they're there to respond to what life gives them, yes, I want, or no, hell yes, or. Mm-hmm. Now, for the projector, they're here, they shouldn't respond, they should wait for the invitation. So they find something they like, they master their skills, and then people will recognize this in them, and they will come to them for advice. And that's how they should use their energy, because they don't have a life force energy. They have to be careful how to use their energy. So they should be waiting for the invitation. Then 8% of the population, we are the manifestors. That is me, my husband also. And when she said that at this webinar, I felt a bit validated, because I always thought, all my life, I felt a little bit off somehow, a bit weird, a little bit different. And now I understand, because we are 8% of the population, so we very our aura is either very magnetic to a few people or very repulsive. And I was always wondering, like, sometimes people, like, even before when I enter a room, I don't even speak yet, that people feel like, ooh, they keep away from me. And I was always, because we have a close and repulsive aura, unless you are the right people who need this kind of energy, for which you become actually the opposite, very magnetic. But I was always like, I wanted to people please before I knew human design. And I was thinking, you know, I was wasting a lot of energy trying for some people to like me, because I thought, I'm a nice girl, why don't you like me? And I was trying to prove to them I'm nice, wasting so much energy there. Now I understand, you know, in the case of a manifestor, rejection is protection. So if people don't feel right around me, I don't insist this is actually perfect, this is how it should be, they shouldn't be in my path. So now that I understood that, it's so much better.
You feel better.
I feel much better.
But it doesn't sound like you've had big issues. I mean, just from, you know, working the history that you were telling me, you worked in these different environments, you blended with different teams, you managed people.
Yes, but I was never... Okay, my strategy is to initiate. So a manifestor is there to get things started, to bring the new, I'm very creative. I think outside the box. I have this idea all the time. I don't need to ask permission to anyone. This is one of the few human type that you don't need permission. You just inform people of what you're gonna do.
Yeah, just like you did. You left France, you went to London, you left London,
yes,
you came
in
to
my
Cyprus.
personal life, perfect. But when it came to my work life, I was thinking, what am I doing in compliance? I mean, I'm very creative. Here I was, you know, writing reports on clients, not talking to anyone. And not being able to initiate, not being able to, because there's no much initiation you can do if you're in AML, you follow the law and that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's not that it was unpleasant, but it wasn't very aligned with my chart. I'm here to bring ideas on the table, to start things, to have a fire starter. And then this girl, after she did the introduction, straight away I got fascinated. I'm thinking, shit, you know, we have a freaking manual of our being. I want to know more of that. So I booked her for full readings, like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So if I've understood this correctly, you've got the type, I think you've run through 4 different types, maybe.
There's 5. Yes, 5? We still have one to go.
You still have one to go.
The 1%, yeah.
And then these other data points here you can tell me, but what I've understood here is your design is here, so this is the desirable, and this is your actual personality that's been shaped over the years. And so your goal is for each one of these things, which I don't know what these are.
Yeah, these are the planets, and you see the little, so these 9 shapes here, they are the energy
on the body
centers.
1, 2, 3, 4. You mentioned chakras before. Can you describe what chakras is?
I think chakra is also, I don't know much about it, but I think it's also some sort of energy. But I think in chakra you don't have that many. Here you have, in human design, you have 9. So you have the root, you have the bottom one is the root chakra. Yes,
the bottom, okay.
Yes. Then you have the sacral there. Then you have the solar plexus on the right. Yes, so this one is your emotion. Basically, when these shapes are colored in,
it's your active.
It means that they're active.
Okay.
And it means that they are reliable for you 24/7. They are your, like, this is I'm an emotional person. These are my real emotion. If it was white, I would not feel my real emotion. I would feel emotion from other people. But I would pick up on someone else's emotion, but the emotion you would feel are not yours. This is your instinct. Yes, this one, the little red one, is the ego. Yes,
ego,
and then Yes, and then you have the up in the throat. This one is the G center below, and then the ajna and the crown. Anyway, all of this, but every one of these means something. And when you have a full reading, so I did a full reading of my child because I saw all that and was like, I want to understand everything. I was like, wow, there's so much to learn. I want to understand. And she tells you, like your root chakra. Like for me, I'm not very built to handle pressure and deadlines or instinct. I have instinct. I have ego. Like I want, I get. If I'm motivated for something, I will get it. I mean, she can explain. She explains to you exactly how you function, which is something you kind of know, but sometimes you're trying to adapt
and
or
how
change.
do they map this out? Do you do some kind of a test, or do they ask, is it like a therapy session? Or?
No. It's purely based on your date of birth, your time of birth, and the place of birth.
What?
So you have these questions, and then you see these are my details.
Yes.
So based on that, you have your chart. My strategy is to inform. So I was playing with that. When this came, I was like, okay, I buy lots of books. I started to listen to a lot of podcasts on human design. I found it fascinating, much more than compliance or AML. And then I was like, okay, all right, I need to start living my design. So I was taking little information one by one before getting into the details. I was like, okay, my strategy is to inform. So I started to use my voice more. I'm starting to inform. So I go to the boss at the old job and I say, look, we don't have enough people. We have 3. We need more people. Give us more people. Nothing happens. Then based on this human design, my mind, because I have a bit of a overactive, like I'm always thinking ideas. So when she told me about my chart and my profile, you see the profile number 14, that's very interesting. So the first number is it's your personality, how people see you. And the second number is, the first number is how you see yourself, and the second number is how people see you, and it's based on the Ds. So this is from the personality, and this is from the design. So the number 1 is the investigator. I'm one who likes to learn through studying. I like to study, I like to go deep, I like to understand. It's like the foundation of the house. It's very important for me to, I could not bullshit. I'm not a salesperson who would just say whatever. I need to really understand and go in depth and know what I'm talking about. I'm the investigator. The number 4 is a networker, the opportunist. I'm there to be around people. I have my network of people. I have my it's like my little tribe of people. I'm there to, and opportunities should always happen through my network, through my people, work opportunities, and for me, the quality of my life depends on the quality of my relationships around me. Like my friends, my family, my people, my inner people, they're everything. They're my everything. I would do everything for them. So knowing that, and when she did my reading, she said, okay, you do compliance, fine. But she said, you have such a potent chart here. I'm very surprised you could do so many other things, more creative. I'm very surprised, she said, I'm very surprised you're doing compliance. And I started to think, yeah, why am I doing compliance? I'm not really aligned doing this. And I was there 20 years, it felt safe. But so then I started to create ideas of what I could do. So I go to my employer and I said, look, I want to relocate people to Cyprus. That's what I want to do. They say, yeah, Lucile, sounds great. But you have some compliance job to do here. So I was like, oh, this is not going to happen. So I started to get frustrated, started to get a bit angry and completely uninspired. When you get to this stage where you feel like you lost inspiration, this is how I felt. And I thought, and before maybe I thought that's enough. You do your job, you get your money, and you live your life. But then I was like, I want something, I want something more. Now kids are older now. I want something I really want to feel aligned in my career. So I really started to think, what should I do? This relocation, I could see that it was not going to happen. And then I got a little bit angry, and then I looked through LinkedIn. First job I saw with AML, I apply. I sent my CV. And then I got a job interview, and like an ASP, and very nice. He said, okay, this is the job, okay, they were very nice people, but I thought, okay, I'm not gonna leave this company like that. So I said no, first interview. Then they called me back, said, we really, really want to see you again. Come back, please. I said, okay. I go, and then they said, look, we really need your help. You build the department from scratch. We really need your help. Can you help here? What do you want? What do you need? So I said, well, I want this. And then I said, by the way, can I bring my best friend? Because I think it's a big job. We need to be at least 2. Say yes. So then I was like, okay, now they gave me everything I asked. So I resigned from the other job, and I started working there. And I think deep down I had a feeling that it was going to be a stepping stone. But anyway, I started this new job with my best friend in the best possible condition. Like the 2 managing partners were amazing, really nice, really understanding. They give us green light on everything to sort out the compliance. They had quite challenging situation. We were a good team to do this. Very nice people, very, very nice, amazing people. But in the meanwhile, all I was thinking was studying here a bit more of human design. So, and I wanted to meet other manifestors. Because every time I was meeting someone, I was running that chart, and I wanted to meet people with my energy type. And beside my husband and another, like a dad of my daughter's friend's dad, I wanted to meet a woman manifestor. So I go to this Facebook group of manifestors all around the world. And then one of them puts something about a transformative journey, 8 weeks, 8 manifestors. I need 8 manifestors from anywhere. And boom, I apply. So I was doing this for 8 weeks on Saturdays with 8 other ladies from all around the world. And we were going about human design, like really in depth about different things. And the more I was listening to these people, the more I understood that, even that new job that started well, I was in the best possible condition. I was like, I need to get out. And I felt so bad because I'm not, I don't move quick in job. Normally I'm staying a while. But I was like, I need to get out. All I want is to study more. I want to swim in the sea, and I want to network. That's all I was thinking of. So I started this transformation course. Week 1, it was when I started the job. Week 8, it finished. And the whole thing with this amazing woman convinced me that this is it. I need to get out of this place. So I go to them and I say, I'm really sorry, but I need to do to get out, to do something. I say, what are you gonna do? I say, I don't know, but I don't know what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do. They were like, come on, they were trying to keep me, say, take a holiday, take a break, what do you need? I said, okay, I really need to not work for now and work out what I want to do. So I left my friend there, so I wasn't feeling too bad because I still had her. And then I just was swimming in the sea. Which is my happy place. I love swimming in the sea. And when I swim in the sea, I put my I put my fins, I go long thing, and that's when I get all my inspirations. Like I always get ideas, I always get like, anyway, so I did that. And I was going to lots of events. All I wanted, I was craving to meet inspiring people. So I was booking every event for a couple of months. I was going to everything, and I met lots of nice entrepreneurs and startup companies. And I was like, wow. I felt very inspired finally. I was like, yes, nice. This is nice. Then I meet this real estate guy who said, do you want to shadow me and see what I do? Maybe you will like it, while you doing other things, no commitment, just. So I was doing a bit of relocation with him. He had some service agreements with innovative companies, so I was doing a bit of fundraising. That's how I met Rafaela and the other people, Rafaela and Andreas. Anyway, then that was very nice. But then I thought, okay, after some time of doing this, and I was running a franchise, so it was all completely new things for me. It was like, wow, there were so many new things I could do. I was like, it felt really nice. But then I thought, okay, money running out.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, it's this is the thing, right? I mean, everybody has that hobby, let's call it, that they want to do, but you don't know how to monetize it, right? Because
yes,
and while you were doing your thing, obviously, you're not generating revenue,
yes.
And the way the world works today, this is something that we need to address. You need to make money, and attending their events or whatever. If you're part of a company that can make that happen. I guess it's wrong to think of it like almost compromising to do something else. But it's, this where you mentioned it quite a few times where you say you've lost motivation and you don't know how to get that motivation back. I don't know, what the right advice is, but what I apply to myself, this is what I do. Because everybody gets in that place where you think, I'm tired, whatever. I just say, think of the things that you're happy about. I work on I'm a grateful. So you wake up and you say, I'm happy about, list of 5-10 things, right? Yes. I'm happy about that, and that. And then what we also tend to do, and I do this as well, is you lose sight of your progress because you involved in the day-to-day grind, and years go past and you think you're in a position today, let's say 4 years ago, right? I think about myself 4 years ago, and I think about what my goals were, what was the North Star, what did I want in my life back then that was troubling me, and how was I feeling generally, right?
Yes.
And you fast forward to today. This is me now, right? I fast forward myself to today and I think, man, 4 years ago, a lot of the things that you were wishing for have happened. They've materialized. And they've materialized because, I work hard. I mean, I don't stop. Yes. I love what I do.
You must be a generator.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of chart I have, but, all I know is I'm just grateful for whatever my situation is at any point in time. I mean, even 15, 20 years ago, where financially the situation was completely different, right? There was some rough times, and I was with my wife back then. But then I was happy. I mean, I was still happy somehow, I'm still happy today, but there's always this, challenge of the issues. Everybody's got some kind of problem that they're dealing with in their life. Everybody gets to a point where you think, I'm not motivated today. But what I do is, when I do feel that, I list the things that I'm grateful for. I say, suck it up, buttercup. Doesn't matter what you're upset about. Just put it to bed and just go do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. And then tonight, you're going to be happy you did. And it applies to everything. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, 5:36, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, and I go to gym. It's done. Been doing it for 20, 25 years. I know that I need to do that, because if I don't, 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to come bite me in the ass. If I don't, right? I do it. And there are many mornings that I wake up and I'm like,
Should I?
I'd rather sleep a bit more, come up with a million different excuses on why it would be justified to not go.
Yes.
Every thought that comes in my mind, I just brush it off. I go and I do what I need to do. And apply that to work. I don't know if it's a right or wrong thing. I'm just saying what works for me.
Yeah.
You know?
But you like what you do.
Yeah, I find,
generally.
But I also find a way to like it.
Yes.
Right? It's got to be something that I really hate doing. I wouldn't do it. But I mean, there won't ever be a perfect match for you at any given moment in time, I believe. Because also people change.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
but I think you owe it to yourself. I mean, you're going to be spending 9 hours at work every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I found it really sad when all you want to do is to fast track to the evening or to fast track to the weekend or to fast track to the next holiday. I was thinking, life is short and we want to fast track it. We should be living 8 hours a day, feeling good about what we do. And I thought I owe it to myself to find something like that, not just to think, okay, well, let's see. I wanted to find that, to have that feeling of, I'm excited to go to work. I like it. I'm doing something I like. I'm with people, So that's why I thought, okay, this is it. I'm done with just being kind of okay, work-wise. Let's play on my charts and experience and see where this takes me. And I had no idea where I was going with that. So when I stopped this with no job, I had no idea, but deep down, I knew that it would work out. I just knew it. And I thought, worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. There are AML jobs nonstop. I get contacted once a week on LinkedIn for AML jobs. So I was like, doesn't matter. I go wrong. I could always go back there. So, so I was, as I was driving, I saw an ex-colleague of mine, and we said, hey, how are you? What are you doing now? So we said, okay, let's catch up for coffee. Call me next time. He called me, we sat. He said, oh, yes, so I left the company as well. I started my own business, boutique advisory firm, financial services. We do this, regulatory compliance. Very nice. I said, oh, wow, okay. I said, do you need business development? So, well, it wasn't in the plan, but let me think about it. Let me talk to the other founder. And I talked to the other founder. The founder is in Abu Dhabi. He came to meet me. And I said, yeah, let's give it a go. I said, look, I've never done that, but I think I'm good with people. I like partnership.
Your cold calling.
I did cold calling.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, that adds to being a good business development, manager.
Yes. And in London, I was, running this resellers and distributors partnership.
Yes.
So I had a bit of an idea that I would like it. So that's how it started. And, because it was introduced, my idea was when I thought I'm going to have to work again, I didn't want to apply for any job. I didn't want to go to any recruitment agency. I didn't want to look at that. I thought, let it come to me. It's going to be happening like that. And I said to the universe, I need a job. Find me a job. And that's what happened. I bumped into this and this happens. And it's very nice, this company, I think for the first time, I'm very inspired now. These two guys who run the company, they have a vision. They're very smart, extremely smart. Like everybody's smart in this company. So I'm working with very smart people all the way to Abu Dhabi, everybody. And they have a vision. They know where they're going. They know what they're doing. One of them is one of the best financial brain I came across in Europe. You interviewed him. The other one is he's a visionary. He's tech companies and he scaled them up and very well connected. So together, they will succeed. It's very clear for me when I see this company. I know that, it's good to be at the beginning of something with them. It's very exciting. So yes, so that's where I am now. In the meanwhile, I had all these crazy ideas. I told you I have these things sometimes. Like when I was not working, I had this idea and I didn't know if it was like one of these downloads from the universe that Manifestors are supposed to bring, or if it was my brain trying to find something. But I thought, Nicosia, we need a big aqua park. For a couple of months when I was not working, I started to meet with developers, with investors, and I was thinking, we need an aqua park, like a big, there's no sea here.
It's so funny how you're bringing this up, because I was having this exact conversation. I didn't come up with, I didn't think of this as an idea. My brother-in-law,
yes,
he said a water park, because our kids were at a swimming pool. A water park in Cyprus would do very well. In Nicosia would do very well. As soon as he said it, I'm like,
yes,
yep.
That's what I thought, because I was not working last summer. It was very hot. I'm more of a sea swimmer if I have the choice, but any water could do it in the summer. I just love to be in the water. Sea always number one. But if you don't have the sea, I thought of where to bring the sea here, but the mayor didn't like. Anyway, so I could see, like, on the way to Nicosia, the new mall, that way, towards that there, you could have one of these big little aqua park with a roof in the winter, opening up in the summer. You would have a couple of slides for the kids, this birthday party that they do here. Yeah. You could make like a sauna thing, like a really nice aqua park with restaurants. Like in the summer, the pool would have a laser for the teenager disco, something like that. Something nice for Nicosia. There's nothing very exciting here for teenagers. So I had this idea. I was like, and I started to connect people. Anyway, then I didn't have time to continue because I started working. But, I'm just putting it out there because I think this needs to happen.
Yeah, you'll never know if you don't try. But, obviously I haven't done as much research as you have, but just from the outside, one question, don't think about it too much. Does it make sense? I think so. Why not? All of Nicosia, we go down to the water parks, Limassol and Ayanapa. They get filled up. Those.
They're full. And if you could think of ways, in the winter to utilize it, like old people could go to do recreate, to build their muscles in the pool. You can have the schools bringing the kids. You can have, you can make all sorts of things to have it run all year round. And there's hardly any pool in Nicosia.
Yes, I was going to say,
very
if you
few.
look at every pool in Nicosia, if you go now in the summer, it's packed.
I know.
Full of people.
There's not enough pool.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. Now, if you look, that's a bit extravagant for Cyprus, but if you look at in Germany, these aqua park, they have them back. They make Airbnb. They have you can rent a little hut in the aqua park. Like they have 5 or 6 on bookings.com. And you rent it for, kids party, you sleep over in the aqua park. Cool. Make it like a jungle type of thing. Imagine something like that. That would bring so many people to Nicosia.
Did you get to the point on how much finance would be required for this?
I didn't go to all that far, but the thing is, I think for investors, it would be a little bit difficult because you would have to think of the long term. It's not going to be a short term return.
Yeah, the land is very expensive. You need a lot of it.
Yes.
You need a lot of it. The water is a big problem.
Water is a problem, so you'd have to do something very ecologically friendly as well with solar panel. You'd need a lot of money to do this. You need to find the right
We need an Elon Musk here. He would come here, put one desalination there, spin that shit up, and then you've got water all over, and we put sprinklers over the whole freaking island, and just let the whole island be sprinkled, and we have green grass all year round. We need an Elon Musk.
Yes. No, seriously. Yeah. Now the other thing that I started. Okay, the other thing that I started recently is. Because I have teenager kids, and I realized, I came to realization that the big problem with vaping in Cyprus.
Yes.
You go to Periptero now, and they sell for €8 this vape. They're right in front of the kids' eyes. Every flavor
and
possible.
All colourful and strawberries and fruit and
lime and chewing gum. I mean, made to attract children. Now, I'm very aware with my daughters, and she said, everybody is vaping. You know, she's 15. Everybody in the school is vaping. And if you see like Coca-Cola and chewing gum flavor, I mean, it's crazy. And these things are very bad because they're full of nicotine. I mean, vapes are good if you are a smoker already and you're trying to maybe change from smoking to go to vape, and this is the idea. But that attracting the kids from non-smoking to smoking without even understanding, they get addicted. And I mean, a lot of countries are changing the national law. I think the UK last month, France, a lot of countries are doing something. Here, nothing. Now, I met the Minister of Health when I was at an event, and I catched him. I said, I need to talk to you about a big issue here. He said, okay, someone explained briefly, he had to go, but he said, someone from my cabinet will call you, and they did. And they said, okay, look, be very aware, this is a big problem. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to change the law, the national law. Europe is aware they are doing something. It's quicker to wait for Europe to do it. But then I'm thinking you have a full the time Europe changes, you have another generation of, addicts. So I started this with my friend. We started to put this campaign online, like anti-vaping, like you vote, how do you call this?
Polls.
Yeah, like these things. We have 350 signatures. We contacted an association, which is the Commissioner for Child's Commissioner for Child something. Anyway, they contacted as well the Ministry of Health and another organization, the Ministry for the Addiction Center, to try and see their response and see what we can do in terms of, I don't know, I find it so sad, that we know the problems, but we let it happen, It's, I don't know, I feel like we have to do something, but it's very difficult to change a policy here, and I don't know.
If it's not going to be vaping, it's going to be something else. Because the truth is, all these things are money makers at the end of the day. It's all finance driven. To the best of each parent's ability, train, teach, tell the kid, get the kids,
Education,
I mean, there's so many things that's of a concern today. Another one is on these tablets with all this, these short reels, these TikTok things. And
yes.
It's just rubbish content. And what I try to do is, my wife, she always tries to put these blockers and whatever. Another channel's going to pop up and get in front of the eyes of, and then I don't think the solution is take away the device completely, because you're gonna exclude them from what the devices of the world has changed. These devices, you need to know, you need to embrace it. So what I try and do is just educate my kids as much as I can and say, let them recognize, okay, what's just popped up here in front of me is useless garbage. Take it away, unsubscribe, just swipe away. and then just kind of train their own mind on what they should absorb as information and what not. I mean, that's the focus on that point. All the world around can throw whatever crap they want. If me and my wife manage to get our kids to understand, we've won the game. And whatever this game, however they spin it, or whoever comes up in a new channel or some new vape, it's not vape today, it's some other freaking drink or whatever.
Yes.
If you train them, but it's easier said than done. It's
it's all about education, but also school maybe should be be more involved in this. Maybe they should talk to incorporate in the program, saying, once you're addicted to tobacco, to nicotine, it's very hard to get out of this. Yeah. I don't know, here in this country, like sometimes, I love Cyprus because I've been here 22 years and I love the Cypriot. But there was one thing that sometimes I get a bit annoyed is Na Kanoume. With this Na Kanoume.
Yeah.
This fatalistic thing. When I hear Na Kanoume, I just want to. It's lots of things. You can Kanoume. Yeah.
Find a way. Na Kanoume means what can we do? It is what it is now. But
it is what it is, but it's not. You remember the haircuts? When there was a haircut.
Yes.
I mean, these people lost their life saving, their providence fund, everything. How many people went in the streets? Hardly any. This is crazy. If they were doing this in France,
the people would still be on the streets today.
Oh my God, you would have the kids, the cats, the dogs, the cows, the whole lot. This would not be acceptable. And here, that's just nothing was done. I mean, this is very strange to me. I had my first strike when I was 12. I always remember, there was something the Ministry of Education wanted to change, and the whole school was striking, and Jospin, serre les fesses, on arrive à toute vitesse.
You remember it?
I remember. It was like my first strike, and we were out for 2 days, and we were and in the end, they didn't pass that thing, We we didn't let it happen.
Okay.
So we had a power, we have a voice, we have a voice, and we can make things change, we just need to believe in it and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not accepting, this Na Kanoume, I cannot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Lucile, we've been speaking for well over an hour here, I think. It's been more than one and a half hours already. Yeah,
Sorry, I speak a bit too much.
No. It's all good. I mean, just a different topic, this human design. Are you doing anything with this, in terms of training? Are you involved, or is it just...
Yes, 10th of July. So with a lady who is a human design reader, she's a professional, that's her job. She's a human design reader. With her, we will do an introduction workshop in Michael, in Nicosia. The Michael near the roundabout, the UN roundabout there. So
where?
Michael, the coffee shop.
Oh, Michaelo.
Yeah.
Michael. Oh yes, that coffee shop. Yeah.
They have
the guy
a
that looks like KFC. The logo.
Yeah, they have a mezzanine. So we will do an introduction, but basically we will explain what is human design. How everybody ideally should live life through their own design. I mean, life becomes so much easier when you follow your design. Things happen to you, and it's when you have a full reading. She goes through all the channels, so all these little numbers, they're your gifts. You have the channels there. I have the money line on mine. I'm here to make money. I have the money line. And money comes to me sometimes without, it's just
Great.
In the weirdest way. But, so you learn all about, your gifts, your life purpose, what you're here to bring, what you're here to be challenged, what you're here to learn, your evolution, Your what else? Your personality number, how to, when to how to make decisions in life, like based on what, for like what's your guiding force. For me, it's based on my emotion. Like I'm a manifesting generator, so whenever I have a decision to make, I should make it through like how does it make me feel. But if it's a big decision, I should wait, to be calm and collected, not when I'm on a high peak of emotion. And otherwise, I just go crazy things. But
what was the fifth type? So you said it was generator, manifesting
yes.
generator, manifestor.
Yes. Then we
projector?
had projector. You're good. And reflector. Reflector are 1% of the population. They're very rare. I met one in America. Amazing lady. They reflect. They basically reflect what's the environment that they're in. So they're very different type. Like they're not based on the sun. They're more based on the lunar cycle. They're a bit different, and they reflect society. So they would see, like they would go into an environment and they would feel straight away if it's a good environment, a bad environment. So it's always nice to know a reflector in your life, because they are the answer of everything. But if you want to summarize this whole energy type, you imagine like, okay, the manifestor would say, hey guys, let's go to Paris, inform, having the ideas. Then the generators, like 3/4 would say, no way. And a few of them would say, yeah, let's go to Paris. Yeah. So they would go and they put the energy to the process and everything, and they organize the whole thing. And then you will have the projector who say, hey, hold on, we go to Paris, but this is not the best way. There's cheaper ticket if we go through there, and this and that. So they work out the better way to go to Paris. And then reflector will be there and reflect how the trip is going, like it's going right, it's going wrong. It's fascinating.
Cool.
But you see, it's like, yes, 70% of the population are generators. They're the doers, they're the workers of this life. And if you're a manifestor or if you're a projector, you feel pushed to work like a generator, but it's not how you activate the best energy. You have your sparkle stop sparkling, So it's good to stick. Everybody should stick to their own design and how this is how the world would work at the best if everybody was aligned to who they are and how to use their energy.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Lucile, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for listening to me.
Yes.
Today.
Let the audience decide. Andrea, you just come right on time. We have concluded the podcast. Thank you, Lucile, for your time.
Thank you,
If there's any
Dinos.
closing comments you wish to say.
And this is it. I can't wait to run your chart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see what I am.
See what you are.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll give you a special discount.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your
It was
time.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.